As a fellow parent who also happens to play video games, I know both sides of the video game world. In the past few years since the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 were first launched, gaming in the home has exploded. With gaming nearly always now requiring an online connection, parents who aren't informed are feeling lost and unsure as to quite what their children are up to or talking about or even screaming about. This is the first video in a series where I'm hoping to help you, the parent, in easy and quick ways to become informed. Now I know this particular video is going to get long, but I do think you should watch this video the whole way through at least once, as I believe no matter the age of your child, this is all relevant. First though, we've got to discuss safe gaming. As I said, nearly all games require online connection now. In fact, most won't work at all, or even such as the Xbox won't even let you watch a DVD now without an online connection. Then of course there is the online chat function. So this topic is one of the primary concerns for us parents. Now how do you keep your children safe online? Now there are certain things that you can do, but firstly you need to bear in mind the age of your child. If your child is under 13, that's a whole nother thing. Over 13, I do think this becomes more of a tricky issue. So let's talk under 13. And this could become a controversial topic, and I know that. I believe any computer or gaming device should not be in their room if it connects to the internet. Sure, in their room, they're out of your way, or you can finally have a cup of coffee in peace. But how can you see what they're actually doing, or even what they're saying? The best way for you to be informed in regards to gaming is to be involved in your kids' gaming. Have the console hooked up to the main TV. Then you can be in the same room and see what they're playing, which will help get a dialogue between you and your child about their games. This also helps with monitoring who they are playing with. I would always suggest, even if they're wearing headphones, to have the audio on the TV. And even if you can't hear who they're talking to, you can get a sense of what is being said because you can hear your child. Last year on social media, on a load of mums groups online, many parents were sharing the dark side of gaming. Predators were lurking and manipulating children into doing things or saying things they really shouldn't inside of these games, as well as on other platforms. That is why I am truly against children having consoles or even computers in their room with the door shut. It is not a babysitter. It's a safe place for people to explore different worlds in various ways, but the dark side of gaming is really dark. Having the gaming console or computer in a common area allows you to monitor and step in where needed. Now hopefully your children will come to you if something is making them uncomfortable, but they might not. And if you do hear anything that concerns you, please bear in mind that most online games, especially those that are played with others, are online and unable to be paused. If you hear something that concerns you, wait for a match to end, or if there is a lull in combat, perhaps if it's not a game with matches such as Fortnite or Counter-Strike, ask your child if you could have a word in another room. Perhaps take them to the kitchen and ask if they want a drink or a snack. Use this as an opportunity to ask if everything is okay and if anything is making them uncomfortable. If they get aggressive or angry with you asking this, personally I would say, okay, time is up, turn it off. But of course, each parent is different and each household will have their own rules. Now, for the parents of you girl gamers, no matter the age, unfortunately, girl gamers are going to receive nasty comments online, even without the shady side of gaming. Even I get sexist comments, which puts me off using a mic online. There are two ways to really deal with this. You can turn off voice chat completely, not use a microphone, or give the person hell. Now, what I mean by that is comebacks and trying to get thick skin. A lot of the sexist comments from guys and children, and yes, I have had a so-called 9-year-old be sexist towards me, thinking that that was okay behaviour. And these are repeated. So in advance, I would talk over this topic with your daughter and work together to find some comebacks she can retort back if she wants to. Such as a reply to "make me a sandwich" could be, well, go get a job then. Or get back to the rust heap you call a car? Or still in mummy's basement? Not the best examples there, but I'm sure you can think up some with your daughter. One thing I'd make sure that your daughter knows how to do is to block and report people on the platform she's playing on. Unfortunately, she will probably end up doing this far too often, but companies and other games are starting to pay attention to the sexist comments and banning them from platforms and games. Now, like I said, for girl gamers, we do have it harder, and in the future I do hope to do a series interviewing other girl gamers on a variety of platforms to discuss this issue. Let me know in the comments if this is something you'd like to see, and like and subscribe and press that notification bell so you will find out when that video drops. But the darker side of gaming is made much more obvious far too quickly with women and girls in gaming online. The sexist comments are one thing, but then often you get stuff like, "Oh, get your tits out," or "I'm your boyfriend now," or even the darker stuff that I am not going to say here, but I'm sure you can get what I mean. I've known of some girl gamers have found that these nastier individuals find their social media pages or even their home address. They seem to think that all of this is okay for them to do. Hint guys, it really fucking isn't. Now parents, how do you protect your daughter in this respect? Like with voice chat for comebacks, teach them about this side of things, especially if you feel they could be pressured into doing something they don't want to do. Now, if your daughter is too young to cope with this, I would highly suggest turning off voice chat. On most games and most platforms, there are ways to do this from the system level, not just each game. I would highly suggest as well against any gamer tag being feminine, as it makes you an easier target. They can still send you a message on the platform, even if voice chat is turned off. I would not engage with any readable messages that could be received, and instead encourage your child to 1. Tell you, and 2. Report them where possible. If there's things such as threats to harm your child, take photos on your phone as well and report to the police if needed. Even if they refuse to do anything, and some won't, insist it be logged in case if anything ever did. To the parents of boys, please watch what they're saying on voice chat or in messages. Do not let them fall in with others talking to girls in a way that you wouldn't want to be spoken to like. Just because their friends might be doing it, that's not an excuse. Educate them beforehand if possible that people in games can be increasingly horrible to girls for wanting to enjoy games just as much as them. Let them know it's okay to call out anyone behaving badly to others in their games, and to treat others with respect and kindness. You never know what's going on in a person's life. Of course, most of this advice can also be applied for older children and those teenagers. But trying to keep any consoles or computers out of their room could be a futile matter. I would suggest trying to keep them still in a common area of your home until perhaps the age of around 16 if highly possible. This is because 1, honestly their education is far more important. 2, after the age of 16, most of the behaviour they may come into contact with online, hopefully they've already had experienced, and they're more emotionally able to deal with it and feel able to come to you with anything concerning. The main thing that a parent can do to help their child avoid some of these unsavoury interactions, and perhaps stop your bank giving you an alert of 1 million V-Bucks being brought on your child account, is to set up those parental controls. To do this, you're going to need your own account on the console. Now this isn't a bad thing, as some of these games can be played couch co-op, so you can play with your child. And perhaps one of their games looks a bit interesting to you in your downtime. On PC, this is slightly more complicated than the Xbox, PlayStation or Nintendo Switch, but it is possible. I have released a video on my channel on the Nintendo Switch parental controls, so click here to check that out. But for the most part, you need to have a parental account with your child's account listed as almost like a sub-account. You can set time limits, which is a great idea if they decide that the match they haven't finished over an hour later is excuse enough. You can disable voice and message chat completely. You can block crossplay for most games. You can block online play unless with certain people, such as only allow them to play with their friends. And of course, you can set money limits in various ways. There's also the option to stop anyone trying to play games much older than they actually are. For example, 12-year-olds playing an 18, such as Grand Theft Auto, unless you grant an exemption. Setting your child's account up this way gives you peace of mind and means when they eventually move the platform away from the common areas, you will feel safer knowing that they need to ask to enable such and such game or whatever, or if they want to spend your hard-earned money. I strongly believe that knowledge is power, and I do think your child can enjoy gaming safely, no matter their age, if you can look into ways that it can work within your family.